Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily, Thursday Thoughts. It's Des here, live with your questions. Looking forward to getting stuck into those, and of course, trying to share some information and try and inspire people the best I can. Before I get started, I'll just let you know, feeling really good today. Been out in that heat and got in a run. That was pleasing. Wasn't comfortable whilst I was doing it, but as I was saying to the guys who was at the coaching session, once we get home, get showered and have a rest, those endorphins will get flowing and it'll feel absolutely amazing. So I'm kind of there now, and thankfully Kay's just come home. Those who watched yesterday will know I've been home alone for a few days, so she's sorting tea out. Once DOdaily's done, I can settle down for the evening, catch up with her, and of course, just take a little bit of time out and enjoy that feeling from getting in some activity. Always looking to encourage that. On a Thursday, I coach the guys, feel sort of inspired by those. It's all part of DOdaily in its own little way here in Nottingham. Put on some boot camp type running sessions, but the YouTube version is all about just trying to create some positivity and some enthusiasm to feel good about what we're doing. And again, all these little things throughout the week help me. Those that have tuned in will know this week I've been spending a lot of time referring back to my kind of mental health journey and the reasons why I do all this. Last Friday, I was invited to mark the return of Forest getting to the Premier League by taking part in a photo shoot for Al Jamie. Again, people who've watched will know the major significance in all of that. A guy who unfortunately took his own life, but had a massive impact on me. Spoke about it at length yesterday. I'm not going to get as deep into it, although some of the questions kind of lead me that way. People have kindly sort of asked me some questions that will mean getting a little bit deeper than I tend to do sometimes. But again, Thursdays are just about being a free hit. I'll answer absolutely anything the best I can. And thankfully, people have picked up on things. But I've made a conscious effort this week to get that little bit deeper. But it's not always like that. A lot of the time, it's just what's on my mind. It's just the way things are going. But of course, amongst all that excitement for me personally of going to Newcastle and enjoying the return to the Premier League, kind of a bit of an eye-opening moment as well personally, in the fact that kind of saw the last 23 years Forest had not been in the Premier League. I'm not going to get into football too much. Don't panic for those who aren't that persuasion. But I saw the last 23 years as an adult, the time Forest have been there, kind of flashed before me. And with what I did for that shoot, and like I say, marking the occasion, brought a lot of memories back. But that's been kind of a good thing as well, because it's always good to refresh, why and what's important in doing something like this. So, got no sort of, make no apologies for that, but do check them out. If you're really sort of trying to understand what I'm doing here, it's important to watch some of the episodes this week. I've also been talking about how we can look after ourselves, and put ourselves forward, help ourselves sort of keep moving forward, both to feel good, but also to help others as well. It's about putting yourself in the best position we can. So that's what this week's been about. Feeling good through it, feeling a lot better than I were last week. Anybody who watched that last week will know it was a bit of a battle last week. After my stag do, an amazing weekend with the guys. Again, I felt fantastic, but I didn't feel very well. I felt fantastic sort of mentally, but physically I felt a little bit run down. I'm kind of convinced I had COVID, but the test said I didn't. I did test myself. So I just carried on about my business, and now I'm just sort of looking forward, having started to feel better, started to reintroduce activity, getting towards the weekend and feeling absolutely fantastic. Of course, if you've got anything to add in, please drop a comment. I'd love to read them out. Eve, she's multitasking, Eve, tonight. Evening, Des. Hope you're well. I'm watching 3 live streams at the same time, you, Dor and Jamie. There's lots of us doing something a little bit different. I'll be catching up on those guys, but thanks for watching, Eve. Thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Anybody who's got any comments to add, wants to get involved, that's absolutely brilliant. I'd just be grateful for the input. If you're watching after, please make sure you hit that like button straight away. Do it now, down there somewhere. It takes 2 seconds, but it really helps the channel sort of move itself around YouTube, and perhaps people might watch it later on. If you are, please comment as well. Anything you want to add, I'd love to receive that and perhaps feed that back next week. Of course, it's just about sharing information. What I do on a Thursday is go through last week's throwback question, where I've asked you something probably light-hearted, just to remind people that that's what it is. We can be that. We can share little bits of information that might just spark a memory or an idea in someone's mind, just to keep inspiring. We'll do that. Then I've got the usual 3 questions that I like to go through, and then I'll leave you with another throwback to get involved in before wrapping up at the end. But again, just feeling fantastic about what I'm doing, and as determined as ever. That little reminder this week for me, the old Al Jamie thing and what we did, is just a perfect reminder. Not that I need it, but a perfect reminder that I need to just keep sort of enjoying the things I do, enjoying DOdaily, desperate to get back into some good routine with it. At the times I'm set, so I'm not clashing with other people. Not that that matters too much, each to their own. I know people watch this in their own time, and I've had, what I will say before I do get into the questions, and it is absolutely relevant in the questions, I've had lots of people getting in touch this week. I'm not going to name them, I'm not going to say anything, because they've not asked me not to, but they've not said that they wouldn't mind that either. People got in touch with me who've actually looking for a bit of support, and I absolutely love that. But I'm not going to go into that just now. Last week's throwback, we'll start with that. A couple of responses. Of course, I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't on top of things. Like everything these days, I realised that's only temporary. Life's a bit like illness, isn't it? We always get over it in the end. But I wasn't feeling fantastic, so I was looking for your ideas of what you go to. A couple of responses to this. Dawn says she heads straight for Mum's sofa. I can understand that. Why wouldn't you? She probably gets looked after, probably got plenty of food. And again, that's something lots of us kind of resort to, isn't it? I tend to sort of wallow on the sofa a little bit. Try not to be too pitiful on myself. If I can get out for a walk, that was what made me ask the question, wasn't it? Try and get out for a walk and see how I can start to make myself feel a little bit better. But if I'm feeling really bad, I tend to watch lots of sport on the sofa. But I do that when I'm well anyway. But it's my kind of go-to thing. Okay, he said lots of nice drinks and some guilty pleasure box sets. Again, I've kind of said the same thing there, haven't I? Sometimes with guilty pleasure treats as well, knowing Kay and myself, we can be a little bit. Sometimes you're just trying to make yourself feel better, aren't you? So these guilty pleasures aren't the worst thing you can do. And Steve says it's the only time he eats soup. It always makes me feel better. Again, it's probably one of those things that is a bit of a traditional thing growing up, I guess. And I think of the Lucozade. I kind of reach out for the Lucozade because when I was growing up, it was believed that was going to make you feel a lot better. Whether it actually did or not is probably a myth, but that's kind of that thing, isn't it? We all sort of, like Dawn with her mum and the sofa, we all like to we all go back to that point where we really did need looking after. So again, just to show people that there's no wrong feeling there. James has just tuned in. Thanks for coming on, James. Feeling great. Jet back at the start, feeling really good about things right now. Been out for a run, feeling fantastic. Looking forward to everything that's in store at the weekend. But again, just getting back to that throwback thing. It's just about trying to feel better. Everything in life, what I do on DOdaily, it's just finding things to feel better, isn't it? So when we're not feeling fantastic, it's just ways that we can realise that, if we do what we know works for us, that's good, isn't it? And like whether it's soup, heading for your mum's sofa, or a guilty pleasure box set, we just need to feel that little bit better. And if we're making an effort, for me, getting out for a walk, because I understand the importance of exercise and how the endorphins can get flowing and make you feel like you're fighting it almost. That's why I like that. Some people always say, God, for God's sake, have a rest. And sometimes we need that, but sometimes we also need to fight it a little bit and do whatever we can. And if we can get out and about, that's great. Eat the right foods, drink plenty of water, depending on what it is. All these things, we know what to do. But like I say, with this throwback, it's almost about just sharing what we actually do, and just proving it's not wrong. We can do what we want at the end of the day. Just for anyone coming in, just a reminder, or anybody just tuning in, and I don't think I've said it yet anyway, all the links to my social media are going across the bottom of the screen there. Anybody that wants to get in touch, I've already mentioned lots of people have got in touch with me this week and sort of either wanting to chat or wanting to meet up, and that's brilliant. I'm always open to that. It's absolutely fantastic with what I do, that people are actually sort of tuning in, listening, wanting to communicate. Because again, on Tuesday, I said that's the best thing we can do, isn't it? Reach out, communicate, get in touch with people, ask. Nobody in the right mind. There's some not very nice people out there, but nobody in the right mind turns around to somebody when they say I'm not feeling great and ignores them. Don't get me wrong, there's people who are standoffish. People are standoffish with me when I talk about DOdaily. But it's not going to put me off, because if I can help that one person, I can think of at least 3 examples this week where people have taken something from what I do. So again, I can take that away at the end of the week. Eve's just popping in saying, I had a picnic in the park today with my 2 nephews who are 4 and 2, but in a couple of weeks, I've done plenty of walking. And that's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Do you know why? I bet you feel absolutely amazing for doing that. And should anything negative happen, you can look back at it and go, I went for a picnic in the sun, I saw my nephews, and I did some walking. Again, 3 things that you can really say have added so much to your day. And I'm always talking about that as well, aren't I? I spoke about 3 people there who've actually added so much to my week, and it does add so much. It of course creates effort on my part, effort on their part, difficult conversations at times, getting deep into what's happened and what's not made us feel great. But again, that's the way we get through things, isn't it? A problem halved is a problem. A problem shared is a problem halved, and all that. I don't believe in a lot of these cliches and such, but if it really does help, doesn't it? As soon as you tell people, and the important thing, something I will say, if you do communicate with people and they ask you if you're okay, if you're not, say it. If you're asking it, ask it twice, because it don't always come out straight away. We've all been there, haven't we? When someone said to you, "You okay?" and you've gone, "Yeah, I'm fine," and you feel absolutely rubbish, and you think, "Ask me again, ask me again," and I don't know why we do it. I don't know why we do it. No, I don't think anybody really knows why. Well, I suppose we do know why, don't we? The reality is, you want people to be genuinely concerned, not just asking you for the sake of it. So when people ask you again, tell them, or if you've said it once, ask the question twice. It might make it a little bit awkward for a second, but believe me, it will work. It's when people start to open up. And of course, that's what I'm trying to encourage here as well. So really looking forward to that. Dawn is commenting, evening coach, it's great sometimes that it's great that someone that you've not really conversed with much, that watches DOdaily, comes to the quiz last night. It's great that you make a big difference to someone's life. Yeah, that's something that happened. The quiz I run here locally at Trent Bridge at the Boot Room Bar every Wednesday. All part of Do Running, all part of what I put on. Whilst it says Do Running, there's a quiz as well. We call it Do Quizzing. Bizarrely enough, I wonder where that name come from. But someone turned up, somebody who got in touch through Twitter, who watches DOdaily, And that's amazing, isn't it? Because then we're starting to build relationships and really make a difference. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make real differences to people's lives. It's important for me to do it in my own life. And I know, without blowing my own trumpet, lots of people will tell me the things I do, but I've made a difference, I think, a little bit somewhere. But that's not really for me to say. But when people turn up to new things and get involved and sit in new teams and tell you their story, that's absolutely amazing. James says, think sometimes it's hard to talk to people. Sorry, I can barely see these comments tonight. Think sometimes it's hard to talk to people. Isn't it the case? We think we might get judged, but somehow it always opens you up and makes you people. Sorry, you think people do actually listen. Sorry, that's all my fault, James. That's not your comment. No, you're absolutely right. It does. When people listen to you, you kind of get this like feeling of goodwill, don't you? And when you're the person doing it, and I think the last word in all that was listen, and that's so important, isn't it? Both sides. I know people who are really, really struggling, who are so hot-headed and they know best, and I just think just take a look in the mirror. A lot of what I've said this week, has been about looking at what we do as individuals, how we deal with things, not blaming everyone else when it goes wrong, because it takes two to tango, so to speak. Oh, I'm really reeling these cliches off now, aren't I? But it takes two people to have an argument, or it takes two people to create goodwill, So listening is so important from both sides. Whilst I've just mentioned it there, for myself, it's just about trying to take everything in. I always say I respond to people, but I try and take as much information before as well, because it's important to understand them and where they're coming from before you do start giving out advice. I'm no expert. I've done it through time. I'm that type of person who tends to lead groups and groups of people. So I feel I have got some experience, and we've all got experience of life. But it is really, really, really important to listen, and I think that's so crucial in all of this. Kay is actually said from somewhere else around me. I think sometimes having someone to listen to is more important than the advice. We just need an outlet to offload to. Absolutely spot on as well. And that's the crucial point about listening, isn't it? If you can just offload, get it off your chest. How many times have I said how important DOdaily is to me? Whilst I'm not having a direct conversation, I'm getting everything out there. Anything negative is coming out. It's not very often these days, but I'm always honest enough, but I'm getting it out there. And before I go to bed, it's all out there now. It's all out in the big wide world. People say to me, how can you say certain stuff? How can you feel comfortable? Does it not worry you what people think? Absolutely not, because it's out there then, isn't it? I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to be ashamed about. It's just getting my feelings out, and I can go to bed almost at ease with myself. If I've had a bad day, if it's been indifferent, that's how it is. Sorry, I've just Eve says I'll have a video call with a fellow Forest fan tomorrow, drawing a new picture, which I'm excited about, and I feel like it's good for my mental health. Absolutely. Again, finding things you do, that's the most important thing, isn't it? It's about finding things that make you happy. I do it, Eve. I've said to you how much people scoff. I've just removed a comment there from somebody who actually made a negative comment, but we move on. They're not going to put anybody off. We just keep going, and we just keep being positive and happy about what we do. And to hell with everybody else, whatever they do is up to them, whatever makes them happy or whatever makes them comfortable. But we can only do what we do, and that's what it's all about. Anyway, I've kind of digressed a little bit there from all the questions, but it is all relevant, like I said before. Question one. So thanks for all the feedback. Thanks for all the comments so far. Thanks for those watching as well. You've spoken about not being You've spoken about not being impacted by others this week. What's your top tip for staying focused on your own goals and not letting others derail them? And that comes from Jess. Well, to be honest, and that was totally incidental. Just ignoring people, just blocking out the noise. That is so important. Um, I'm sure Eve won't mind me saying, all the nice things she's done today, and I've just said that just block everything else out. Once you've done all your things, once you've got it off your chest, once you've got nothing to be worried about, there's absolutely no problem with anything. You can go to bed with a smile on your face, and I used an example earlier in the week. Social media used to be a thing where I'd chat about football, I'd get deep into things, I'd get myself into little arguments, which really shouldn't have been arguments, probably sticking up for people most of the time. So I kind of come away from that side of it. As soon as I did, people questioned whether I was still a football fan because I took up running, because I started talking about mental health, because I did what I want to do. But I just drowned it out. As time's gone on, I've come back into football and I tweet about football. I do YouTube about football. I do a show on a Monday night. Anybody who's a football fan, I do Door on Tour now. Dial in with Des. You can talk to me about the weekend's football, but that's something else. But just a cheeky plug for it. But I've come back into it with a much more positive attitude. So it's all about drowning out the noise a little bit. What people want to say, we can't change. People have said about me absolutely everything. People say nice things about me, which is amazing, and I have to sort of cling on to that. Not to show off, not for ego, just to sort of be positive, and realize that all the crap doesn't really matter, because whatever you do in life, somebody's always going to have a dig at you. Somebody's always going to say something. And here's a nice comment just to back that up. With me watching your vlogs has actually really helped me with my channel. And that's amazing. Thanks for that, James. Really appreciate the feedback and really support your channel as well. Try to as much as I can. Always watch it. Always like it. Always support James's tweets, because why can't we? If you're doing something good, it's not just to be wishy-washy. It's not just to kiss ass. Because I don't need to do that. I don't do that. As people will be quick to tell you, as much as I support everything around me and everybody's channel and everybody's social media and be positive about football and all the things I'm saying, I'm definitely not a kiss ass. I'm very blunt in my opinions when I need to be. If somebody's upset me, I'll let them know about it, but I'll move on very quickly, and that's the end of the matter. And I kind of get myself into situations where people don't like that, because if they're trying to poke you, trying to prod you, and it doesn't wind you up, it tends to make them a little bit worse. But what can we do? We just have to look after ourselves, don't we? We get one chance at this, guys. Absolutely one chance at this. There's that thing with Ricky Gervais. I was watching one of his stand-ups, and I love his attitude to things. I know some people might look at things and not quite get it in the way I see it, or they might think it's too controversial. But he says, we're here with a squillion to one chance, and we're here for a very short time in reality. What's the point stressing? And that's the reality, isn't it? So, I just try and drown out all the noise. When people upset me, like I say, I let them know about it, but then I don't bear a grudge. I move on. And it's as simple as that. If somebody's really negative stuff on social media, I just ignore it generally. If it's going to affect other people, I'll block it. If it's just aimed at me, fair dues. If that's your opinion, that's absolutely your opinion, isn't it? Okay, popping in here. It's loads easier to support someone than being negative about them. Absolutely. I mentioned there about James liking his stuff, supporting his stuff, supporting all the other people. I go too far sometimes, I don't get the same levels of support back. But I don't worry about that either, because if I did, I wouldn't be doing it for genuine reasons, would I? And James says there, I absolutely agree with you there, Des. Thanks for that, James. But that's what it is, isn't it? It's just about going that extra mile to try and support whoever you can, knowing you are doing it for the right reasons. And once you realise that, nothing else really matters. It really doesn't. I say this all the time. People will always find an issue. I see it. Social media is horrible for it because people can hide behind things. But at the end of the day, going back to the question there, sorry, I'll get that up. Going back to the question, what's your top tip for staying focused on your own goals and not letting others derail them? Just thinking about yourself, finding that time to do it. I still talk about my little timeouts, whether it's a walk on a Monday or a Friday morning or the football itself. When I'm on a football YouTube channel, it's kind of like time for me to zone out from all this kind of stuff, from my phone and text messages and all these kind of things. It's just a great release, and that's what people don't realize, isn't it? It's just about finding little ways to keep yourself entertained and happy. Moving on, really appreciate a question. It's quite deep stuff so far today, but again, that's what DOdaily is about. Absolutely anything goes on a Thursday, whatever's on your mind. It's brilliant to get some of these questions in because I try to encourage them, and I know how standoffish people get. People think it's clever to be negative about this kind of thing, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to say something. Somebody's got to do something about it. It's really, really great. James has just posted a question. Thanks for that. I will come back to that. I'll come back to it at the end. I'm sure you'll understand the obvious link there. But question 2, how do you react when people reach out to you? Well, I've mentioned this thought already, haven't I? I've kind of got a little deeper into this before I got to the question. I've said it many times, haven't I? I absolutely love it when people reach out to me in the way that they feel confident enough to, for them, first of all, they feel confident. It makes me feel like I'm useful. It gives me confidence because I feel like they can trust me. They can see what I'm trying to do, that they believe in what I'm saying. Already received some nice comments tonight. And again, those kind of things give me confidence to keep doing this, give me determination and motivation to keep doing it. That they're all sort of nice feelings to have. Don't get me wrong. Some days it gets late and I think, oh God, I've still got to do that. But it's not often. It's something like, for all the reasons I said before about signing out for the day almost when I know I've got time to settle down. It's absolutely fantastic. But it makes me feel great in that sense. But of course, I'd love not to have to feel like that. If everybody around me was absolutely amazing and fantastic, and I don't purposely put myself into a situation, I've almost, since the whole Al Jamie thing, which I've touched on a lot so far and a lot this week and a lot in the past, I've almost felt compelled to do it because I feel I can relate to people, can be honest, I can be critical of myself, I can admit my mistakes. And you've got to have that little bit of humbleness, haven't you? I've not been an angel in life. I've not been absolutely perfect. Things have happened that people could throw in my face and say, well, you said this, you did this, or you made a massive fuck up here and there, Absolutely. But something happened that made me feel like I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help people. And if anybody got to a situation that my friend was in, that at least I could be there. And over time, I'd already started the running club that supports people. I know there's a direct link between physical exercise and mental health, so without even having to raise any questions, people come along to that. And it makes me laugh in a way when people scoff at this side of it, because I do that and people come along and that's absolutely fine. But the DOdaily side, and I'm not moaning, I'm not moaning, I'm just trying to point out the difference. And then people look at this side of it and go, well, that's not for me. I don't need that. But they come along to a running club run by the same person, and really enjoy that side of it. Or they go to football with the same person. Do you get what I mean there? But again, it's just about kind of, when people reach out, when they feel the need to. Sorry, I got distracted there in my own mind. I went off track. What I meant to say there by mentioning everybody else was just being there when they're ready for it, isn't it? Being there when they're ready to sort of make those comments, whether it is the football, whether it's the running group, whether it's people I spend time doing, other family, friends, I spend time doing other things with. It's just about being there for them when they're ready for it. Because again, most things in life we can't deal with until we're in a good place to do it. It takes digging deep at times. It takes horrible situations, adversity, possibly reaching your lowest point to go again. That's where I feel I got, but I did. And then it sort of leads you into these situations. But it makes me feel fantastic in the sense that people can trust and have taken something from me, and it gives me confidence. But again, in an ideal world, it wouldn't be the case. But thank you for that question. I won't say who's popped that in. And just before going to that last question, like I say, lots of stuff there. If you've got any questions to ask me along those lines, if you want to get in touch, I'll keep saying this today. Like I said, I've made a real point of it this week. Please get in touch. Ask me. I'm always open. DMs are always open to meet up, always open to chat. Of course, I'm not backtracking it at all in the slightest, but got lots of things going on, and again, it's all about trying to understand the situation and build relationships. But I'm always there to help. I've always believed in this anyway, but there's some wise, Kay will know what I mean by this. There's some wise Irishman in a pub. Every time we see him, he kind of forgets who we are. But he always says to us, well, he said to me the very first time we met him, what's the most precious thing you can give anybody? And I knew the answer, but he wanted to tell me anyway. It's time. If you can give people your time, nothing else matters. And it does take time sometimes. When going back to supporting people, it takes time to support. But if you don't expect anything in return, if you don't demand anything back, it comes back. It's all about paying it forward a little bit, and you get all that feel good from it. When people do text me or get in touch with me and ask me to help, that's winning. That's winning for me. Not, I don't make any money from DOdaily. I don't make any money from running. But all the things I get from it, or I don't receive materialistic things without working hard, but all I get from it makes me feel like I'm winning, and I feel happy and content with what I do. And that's why those things are really, really important. So hopefully that all makes sense today. But if you've got any questions, please do sort of get in touch. All those links are still going through. Follow my own social media. Again, it's got my face on it. It's at Des Oldham on most things. No stupid name to hide behind, or no egg on my face to hide behind. You get what you see. If people don't like it, they know where to unfollow, and that's what it's about. Dawn says, I've no shame in saying I've reached out to you for a chat in the past. Your reaction was immediate. Let's go for a walk and chat. And that's brilliant, isn't it? That's absolutely, that's what it's about, because that's how we get to the bottom of things. And Dawn will be the first one to tell you, I'm sure she can confirm it here. I'm not easy on people. I do listen, like I said at the start, I do listen, but I'll ask the difficult questions if it's needed to get to the crux of the issue. At the end of the day, it's about making progress, getting somewhere. If you need my time and you need to take, again, like Kay said, it's important to be that person that someone can offload to. There's many walks I've been on, but as I build a relationship with people, I can be quite tough loving. I come from that kind of background. It was the way I was brought up, quite sort of, whilst I think I'm a nice person. And again, Dawn might vouch for that. I'm not begging. Just kidding. No, but I think I'm a nice person, but I definitely, I'm not easy on people. And if it means getting to the crux of the issue, and that's the important thing, isn't it? It's about trying to find a way of progress. You'll hear me saying all the time, I've been rubbish at getting up in the morning, my diet's been rubbish. I've drank too much this weekend. I've done this. It's not me being really down on myself. It's me making myself accountable. So if we can find a way to make ourselves accountable, that's really important as well, isn't it? But again, I hope hopefully you understood all of what I was talking within those first two questions. Really do appreciate people asking that kind of thing. Question 3, on a much lighter note, on all that. This has come from John. I always enjoy your on-location vlogs. Like last Friday in Newcastle, what's your favourite UK city to travel to? Well, I actually really enjoy those vlogs as well. Of course, it gives a bit of a different angle to things. On a Friday, although everything's been pretty manic recently with going away for this or going away for that. You know, I've been trying to get in my videos in different places. Of course, I do my different location every Friday. When it works out for me, I'll get to somewhere different to walk. Still got to get back to that walking challenge. I'm doing this at the moment. Last year, I walked the 112 miles of the Robin Hood Way. This year, I'm doing 60 miles. That circumnavigates Nottingham. About halfway through. But life gets in the way, as it always does, as I always talk about. And I've not done it for a few weeks. I'm not quite sure I'll be there tomorrow, again, through sort of commitments. But definitely, my real aim next week is to get back to my routines with DOdaily. That is my goal. I'm putting it out there now. I've been saying it, but that is my one thing to really concentrate on. So I'm hoping to get back on that walk for a start. So do check those out, and the playlist that's gone before. Of course, all the part 1 vlogs as well. They're great. They're fantastic. Just shows what I get up to on a Saturday morning in different locations. There's a playlist for that. So just a plug for those. But yes, absolutely love traveling. Absolutely love going away. Newcastle last week. Again, I put a post on social media. I kind of referred to this earlier about seeing my life flash before me almost. Lots of memories, things inspiring me. What an inspiring place Newcastle is for a start. It's a brilliant city. You know, it's vibrant, it's big, there's friendly people. You know, whilst I'm not quite keen on the football team, you know, they've got friendly supporters. And like I say, there's lots going on in the city, those iconic bridges. And I went there when I was young, and I think that's one of the things that kind of sparked my memory of it. And I've been there quite a lot. I've worked there, I've gone for nights out there, I've gone to football there. So there's lots of things. It's played a part. It's a fantastic place to visit. So it was important for me to do that vlog. And again, as I mentioned on last Friday's vlog, I walked over the Millennium Bridge at the end, which was almost at the start of this kind of running stroke mental health type journey I've taken. And for the first time in many years, I found myself on that Millennium Bridge with some running medals, feeling really proud of myself. So again, it's been significant, and that's why I enjoyed doing it last Friday. But getting back to the question, you know, what's my favourite city? There's, along with Newcastle, I think I could probably mention 2 others, and I'd find it hard to pick a favourite. Probably would just plump for London. Absolutely love going to London. You know, what a place. Some people hate it. You know, I can understand it. They don't like the hustle and bustle and rushing around and the getting on the tube. You know, I'm kind of obsessed with the place. I watch YouTube videos about the tube, about London, about the way it was built. You know, because again, I just love it. Exploring those different places, going to football, doing a park run, whichever way I do it, going away with Kay for a few days. Kay's just been there and come back, and she's telling me where she's been, and we've got to go and try this. So again, and the London Marathon, all these things make it a fantastic place. Lots of these things have happened because of running as well, you'll notice. The Great North Run in Newcastle, a fantastic event. The London Marathon. And another place, Manchester. I absolutely fell in love with that place when I did the Manchester Marathon. The support there is incredible. And just what a place. Music, inspiring music from back in the day. You know, of course, I grew up in the 90s, and there was Oasis and all the indie bands on that scene. So again, just things that spark your memory, and just a brilliant place to be. Love sort of going up there, exploring it all around Salford Quays and of course, going to the football matches there as well. So 3 cities there that I absolutely love. And just to throw another one in the mix, I know I'm probably going on a little bit now, but Brighton, where I went on my stag do, place by the seaside, absolute a city by the sea. A lot of these places you go to are small towns, and there can be not much happening, or it can get a bit quiet at night time, or there can be quiet patches. But Brighton's such a vibrant place. Absolutely love it. Got no shame in saying that. I absolutely love going down there a couple of weeks ago for my stag do, and it was like party central. That's what somebody in the stag do was saying. I can't remember who it was, but no, love that as well. But I think I probably just plump for London. Really, really love getting down, and it won't be long before I'm going again. Myself and Kay doing the London Marathon 4 weeks after the wedding, which is in less than 4 weeks. So it's we'll be definitely looking forward to that. A couple of questions here. Easy to talk to you, but you do ask difficult questions. Yes, you're a nice person. Always get a nice comment from Dawn, even if I went fishing for it myself. Thanks for that, Dawn. And Dor, how are you feeling today, Des? Well, if you'd watched the episode, you know Mr. Dor. Not really. He's been doing his own. Do check back. Again, another one who supports me along with Dawn and along with James and Kay, of course. I get fantastic support from them. Feeling great about what I'm doing. Looking forward to the weekend and catching up with you guys. So definitely be back on that. Thanks for that question, John. Sorry, that's my train of thought completely there. Dor generally has that impact on people. Just kidding. And of course, on the back of that, I'm always looking for feedback and throwing something out there for the next week. What's your favourite UK city to travel to and why? Where do you love going? Again, it just might inspire me to go. I'm going to Liverpool to watch football next weekend. Not this weekend, the weekend after. Again, following Forest. So whilst it's not somewhere I'm particularly I've never been that excited about going to for several reasons. It's somewhere different, isn't it? It's somewhere to go and enjoy, have a look around, do something a little bit different. I've already been hinting on doing a park run on the way. So looking forward to that. What's your favourite city? Again, sometimes it just takes someone to say, you need to try this, and you go and do it. Don't be a snob and go, oh, they said that, so I'm not doing it. Just get out there and do it. It's brilliant. If you can feed back to that, that'd be brilliant. If you can comment now, or if you're not watching it live, comment on where you like to go on any of the social media throughout the week, any of the videos. I'll pick that up, and I'd love to read a few of those out. Again, as somebody who loves to travel, I'd love a few ideas of where I can go next. I'm one of those people as well who likes to try new things, try different places. Whilst I love going back to London, that seems to be the one I go back to all the time. I've been back to Newcastle. Always up for going somewhere different, trying it out, because you always learn something or take something from it. And that's why it's important. Traveling is amazing. Traveling is one of the best things you can do. Of course, you have to be in the right position for it. But again, I don't want to sort of get too deep into this right now, because it's not about this. But at a time when I didn't feel great and I was on my own, and I probably didn't have as many pennies to spend, you can't do it. And sometimes I can't do it now. I have to work hard for these things. But it takes a bit of effort, and it takes a bit of saving, or making the right decision at the right time. But it's important to travel, because it sort of opens you up to everything that's going on as well. Travel and communication is so important. I think that they're the things we can take from this episode. Just a comment there from Dawn. Mine will always be Cromer. More of a town than a city, though. No, absolutely, whatever. And I think knowing Dawn, that ball was back to when she was young again. And again, it's those good times we remember and take forward, isn't it? Everything we do is about creating memories and creating good ones. I've been saying this week, when times are bad, I use it as an experience. when times are good, it's all about creating the memories for the bad times again, isn't it? To try and pick us up and pull us out of it. And that's what we all reach back to. Started the episode by talking about being ill. All of us are big kids at heart. We just go back to the things we know that works. But because we're adults, we're not allowed to say it works. We've got to be big and strong and brave and be bossy and forget all the things that make us happy. And that's bullshit, really, isn't it? We don't really have to think like that. Let's just be big kids and enjoy what we enjoy. Kids run around enjoying the things they do. You give them some colouring pens, or you give them some bricks to build, or some cards to play with, as I seen last night. A couple of kids in the pub at the quiz, spent 3 hours building houses with beer mats, because that's what makes them happy. I'm sure you see where I'm going with all that. But as we get older, we tend to think, no, we have to do this because such and such down the road or such and such on Facebook won't like it. That's bullshit. Just do what makes you happy. And what makes me happy is DOdaily. So if you've got any more questions, please email me. Like I've said before, all them links that I've been constantly scrolling across, I'm sure you know how to get in touch now. I'll be back for Wake Up to Walk. But just before I kind of talk about that, there was a question there from James. Where is your favourite place to walk? Of course, I'm always open to any questions that people want to ask me. Whilst it's live, I'm quite prepared to be put on the spot. I let Kay fill in the questions, so I don't know what's coming all the time. Sometimes I do because I have to do it myself. But generally, Kay puts them in, so I don't give it too much thought. Just trying to be honest, realistic, relatable. Doing things that everyday Joe does, including myself. But the walking, I'm sure you'll know by now, James, absolutely love getting around the river. I live close to the River Trent. I live close to the football stadium. This area for me plays such a major part of my life. The running club is all based here, the football stadium, the cricket across the way. Such a fantastic place to live. I wouldn't swap it for the world. I really wouldn't. I live in a very humble house a few roads back from the river, which is fine. Again, these aren't negative comments. I wouldn't swap it for the world. You could give me a very big house in the middle of suburbia and I'd tell you to shove it up your arse. And Dawn will know that because it's a phrase I use. Not trying to be blunt or by swearing, but just trying to sort of say it as it is. I really, really love walking around the river. And again, some of these walks I've been on, the Robin Hood Way, absolutely amazing. Again, check out that playlist because the way I enthused about these things when I do it, I didn't think I was that enthusiastic. I used to be a bit of a whatever type person. But when I got doing these things, when I found walking especially, that was a game changer. Something brought on by COVID, again, finding a positive out of a shit situation, but something that I really enjoy. And you can do it anywhere. You can do it where you live. You can do it. Everybody lives not too far from a country park these days. They're absolutely everywhere. Or a couple of hours driving to the Peak District. That is absolutely one of my favourites. My favourite walk, I think, is from Hope to Edale. It's a really, really steep climb to get up onto the ridge. And then you go over Backtor and Mamtor and come down look over Castleton and down. Don't do it enough. Probably done it 2-3 times in my life, but that's my absolute favourite if you are looking for a definitive answer. But absolutely anywhere, get out and just make the most of it. I've begun to love having a walk around the lake. It's refreshing, isn't it? And one thing water does, James, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. People will be going, we've heard you say it before. Water, and he says there, he's never been to the Peak District. Get out and do it. It's easy to access on the train and it's relatively cheap. Again, just so making it accessible to everybody, it's absolutely stunning up there, and it just shows you a whole new gives you a whole new outlook on things. But I was going to say something there, but I've got distracted. But yeah, wherever you can get, make sure. Oh, the COVID thing. I wonder what I could do in COVID, to keep myself busy, and walking was just one of the things I found, and I love it nearly as much as running. And I was just saying this evening, I need to do a little bit more again because I get so much from it. But again, I definitely advise that. But for tomorrow, for now, I'm going to sign out. I'll be back. I'll be out bright and early, attacking the day, feeling good about it all now, feeling like I'm getting on top of things. Whilst it's not quite worked for me this week, I feel I can really attack next. Got a good weekend in store. Another stag do. Probably going to be quite epic on Saturday. But again, I'll have lots of amazing people around me sharing a fantastic time here in Nottingham. Accessible to more people. It's important to do that. And then, of course, Forest at the City Ground on Sunday. How amazing is that for the football fans? Amazing for me. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait for it. Tomorrow's episode will be available for you to watch, for you to watch. Spelling mistake there. From 7 p.m. tomorrow. I've actually changed that now. So I'll get that sorted during the day, get it on for you to watch. Please have a look why I do it, why it's so important for me, why I can reflect over the past couple of days and really, really attack the weekend. Have a great evening, guys. Really, really appreciate the support. Mr. Dore there, whoop whoop, stag do. He's actually coming on this one. He cried off the last one, made up some excuse. And James says, brilliant stream again, Des. Hope you have an awesome day tomorrow. You too as well, James. Get out there and get in a walk. Get them in early. Give it a try and let me know what you think. You know, it's brilliant when you get it done. Feels like you've really hit the day hard. But I'll talk about that more tomorrow. Until then, guys, just doing it.